Woody.
Hey, it's me, Just Jerry, YouTube's only Middle Eastern alpha male. Speaking of alpha males, the red pill community is losing the plot day by day. Now, whether you believe in red pill discussions or talking points, one thing that's true about that community is that they are god-level manipulators. Nobody in the red pill community lives the lifestyle that they are pushing onto their audience. For example, a content creator called the No Fugazi podcast was recently exposed for being in a relationship with a single mother. You're probably thinking, there's nothing wrong with that, and you would be right, but only if he spoke about single moms the same way.
So if you are a single mother, single mothers normally don't have good character, generally speaking, because they chose the wrong man, meaning that they normally broke up the relationship. Single moms show the worst characteristic traits, to be honest. No, what single mothers show is that you're selfish because you prioritize yourself over the kid. If you prioritize the kid, you would have worked through thick and thin to keep that relationship with the father.
Yes, those words came out of his mouth. He's 6'4", black, makes over $100,000 a year, so you'd never find him in a room with any of those Jezebels. Funny enough, he's not only a stepdad to another man's kids, but he has and is having another kid with a single mother. Notice how I said single mother and not his wife? And that wasn't by accident. He's been with this woman since 2017 and still has yet to make her a proper woman. There are so many clips of him online speaking so much shit on single mothers, criticizing their lifestyles and life choices. And you'd think the way that he talks about single moms, he'd be very disgusted by even being in the same 10-mile radius. But it might seem like it only applies to a certain demographic of women, but yet he's breaking a single mother's back end. If there's one pattern you'll notice in the red pill community, it's that the hatred and disgust only applies to a certain demographic. Now remember everything I just said and watch this clip and see if you notice the utter bullshit he's preaching.
Okay, so now you just heard that clip where you got the truth now. Now let's get into another clip where I actually tell men that don't have any kids not to date single moms. Men that do have kids that have full custody of their kids, that's an exception to the rule if you have full custody of your kids, because only 18% of fathers win custody battles. So you're in the exception, man. And when you have full custody of your kid, women that don't have kids necessarily don't understand the obligations that it takes when having kids. There's many red flags that those single moms be having. So still try to avoid them. But if you can find one that doesn't have all of those red flags, but you have a kid, maybe it's not a bad idea. But still, it's nonsensical to even say because generally speaking, most of them do. I just happen to be the exception to the rule, and my girl happens to be the exception to the rule. I just happen to be the exception to the rule, and my girl happens to be the exception to the rule.
Is this nigga serious?
And most red pill content creators think like this, whether you believe it or not. But I gotta tip my hat off to these people because they are the best scammers I've seen on social media so far. Besides those tummy tuck vitamin companies. Ladies, please stop buying them. Back to the red pill fuckers. We've seen the red pill big three rise and fall. You had Kevin Samuels, Andrew Tate, fresh and fit, but in the year 2024, it seems like they're heading down the toilet. With Kevin Samuels, for example, when he was alive, it was the same red pill rhetoric, but when he passed just like the woman and men he belittled for money, alone with nobody to grieve for him.
Damn.
Yeah, the internet had its 15 minutes of silence, but the internet did what the internet does. Move on to the next while you fade away into memory. Andrew Tate, that's a rabbit hole in itself, but he's been on a downward spiral since being banned from everything and going to jail on charges that I won't speak on. Since being banned on every platform, he just slowly fell off. Yeah, you'll see the clips of him every now and then, but it's not like his prime days where you had kids everywhere saying, "What color is your Bugatti?" He just dead ass fell the fuck off. Lastly, fresh and fit, the last man standing. It's crazy on how they had the keys to success but still fumbled horribly. And the funniest part is that it's not even Walter's fault. It's his partner in crime, Myron, that's fucking everything up for them. Now, Fresh and Fit have always been a central point of controversy, whether it's losing the beef between Ab and Preach or concerning friendships with self-admitted pedophiles. But 2024 would be the year where things would start getting a little more shaky. I'm not the internet historian, but I think they started off the year being demonetized on YouTube, their main platform. It was getting bad to the point where they were getting banned off of everything, leading them to the bottom of the barrel websites like Kick and Rumble. They'd also be exposed for dating sugar babies. I think Walter knocked up a 304 that he fell in love with or something. I think Myron got exposed for knocking someone up as well, but I'm not too sure. But all these controversies wouldn't amount to the damage that Myron was going to do on Twitter. Myron Gaines, the mascot of Fresh and Fit. Most people recognize him, so it would make sense for his actions to spotlight more eyes towards the channel. And I think he got too drunk off of the Don Julio because he would go down a weird, racially motivated spiral on Twitter. We're talking about wearing white caps, mocking and hating black people, women specifically. Speaking of black women, it seems like he really hates them more than black men. He usually likes getting into it with black women that he invites on the podcast, which to me is confusing to say the least on both ends. Like, why do women go there? But I digress. Back to Myron. Myron has been on this weird Uncle Ruckus wave and has been on Twitter hating on anything black related. AMP members showing their accomplishments? Ill. Get those stupid blacks off the internet. As if Walter, his right hand man, doesn't buy exotic cars and make it his whole personality. Ruby Rose exist? Ill. Get that dirty bimbo off my screen. As if his whole online career doesn't depend on women. He'd even go into white spaces on Twitter and speak as if he is white, constantly grouping himself together with white people. Funny enough, white people don't want him either, so he's really just a dipshit with no race to claim him. I really hope this sounds like hating, but by next year, I really would like to see them being Thanos snapped off the internet, and Fresh and Fit fans only have Myron to blame for that. Now, it might seem like I'm just hating because there are some people who have bettered themselves with red pill ideology, and if that's the case, congrats. But the negativity red pill content creates outweighs the positivity. So when I say death to the red pill community is necessary, I'm not advising for other channels to lose their money or platforms. But at the same time, the internet would be a little more better without them. Maybe you feel the same, or you don't. Comment something, or not. You got free will. In conclusion, I don't know what to say.